What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about the I ate junk food and lost weight phenomenon. And first of all, I want to start out by saying, because you lost weight doesn't mean you didn't fuck up your metabolism, does not mean that you lost fat. It actually can in fact mean you stopped fat loss from happening. This comes about because I have a client that had gone off their diet and lost weight and said, well, how is this possible? I thought for sure I had screwed it up. Let me explain the weight loss junk food phenomenon. Now, there's two different things that are happening. One of them is you're not very lean type of person. You eat some junk food and there's weight loss. Now, some people go, that's a speed up in metabolism, Jerry. That's not necessarily true. For every gram of carbohydrates, you have 4 grams of water that's stored. Now, if you eat junk food, let's say you eat 100 grams of carbohydrates, that's 400 grams of water that is needed to store those carbohydrates roughly. Some more, some less, but it's actually sometimes more rather than less. That water goes into the muscle with the carbohydrate and stores it. Now, you go back to your reduced carbohydrate diet, your body does burn off those carbohydrates, and with those carbohydrates comes the water. You wind up peeing more, and overnight, I mean, I've seen people lose 5, 6, 7, 10 pounds overnight just of water loss. So to lose a couple pounds by the end of the week from the water, or you ate some junk on this day and then all of a sudden the scale drops over here, as that water pees off, you have dropped water. It's weight. Yes, it's weight. And so many people get caught up in the scale and say, I'm dropping weight, I'm dropping weight. I'm like, yeah, but you don't look any different. Okay, I once knew a guy, my ex-girlfriend's father, not Kari, another ex-girlfriend, who took a 7-pound shit. Yeah, okay, and I know this, fucking phone's going crazy over there. I know this because he weighs himself in the morning. So he weighed himself, and it must have been a hell of a turd, because afterwards he was like, holy shit, I feel like I gave birth. So let me go just weigh myself now and see what it is, and it was 7 pounds lighter. Now, technically he lost 7 pounds. Now, did he come running out of the fucking bathroom like, I lost weight, yes, I'm 7 pounds lighter, I dropped 7 pounds, I found the new way to lose weight? No, he didn't do that. Why? Because it's not fucking fat that you lost. It's a turd. It's intestinal mass. Now, one thing that also happens too is when you eat the junk food, this happens a lot with people, you're regular. However, when you eat junk, for some reason, I don't know if it's the weight of the food, which could be possible, you wind up pooping more. So there, again, you have intestinal mass that you're losing, or shit, I call it intestinal mass, that comes off the scale. However, if you took a caliper reading, calipers didn't fucking budge, which means you're not losing fat. Now, I think that by people getting so hung up on the scale, they look for any reason to rationalize why that's a good idea. I lost weight last time doing it, let me do it again. They do it again, the water gets stored again, they poop a little bit more, the water comes off, holy shit, I lost weight again. However, you're not losing fat. What you're doing now is going backwards, okay? You've halted fat loss at this point, and you're going backwards, okay? Now, let's go into the other scenario. The other scenario is somebody who's very lean. Right now, I walk around in single-digit body fats. Now, my carbohydrate consumption is very low. I just don't need a lot of carbohydrates to function. Maybe, possibly, I might get in 50 to 60 grams a day. I'm not even really counting right now. I just weigh out my food with my pineapple and I have a scoop of real food after my workout. So I'm maybe getting like 50 grams a day. Now, if I increase my carbohydrate intake for a day, and it doesn't really matter whether it's junk food, sugar, complex carbs, whatever the case may be, I will get a boost in metabolism. The reason why that happens is my metabolism is fucking screaming. It's been months that I've been doing my cardio, training hard with weights, watching my diet, and I'm on a restricted carbohydrate diet. Now, your body, they say 400 to 500 grams of glycogen is what your body holds. Okay, so 400 to 500 grams of a carbohydrate is broken down into glycogen. I'm not really sure exactly what gram per gram it winds up being. That's a lot of fucking carbohydrates. So if I eat in one day, I have a high carb day, I'm not eating anywhere near 500 grams. So I'm not even filling my liver glycogen and my muscle glycogen stores. And what's happening is now I'll go back into the gym, and since I've reduced my carbohydrates again, I burn off a lot of those carbohydrates that I just took in from that one day of the higher carb day. It's carb cycling, refeed, whatever you want to call it. So now what happens is the body literally burns through them so fast like that, that you get a boost in metabolism. My body temperature goes up. I'll notice that my fat loss, if you look at the calipers, they actually go down. But that only happens, okay? Only. This goes with refeeds and all that other shit. You get fat people doing refeeds. That only happens when you're already fucking lean and you're doing stuff to stimulate your metabolism, like cardio, training with weights to failure, which stimulates metabolism over 24 hours. These things make a big difference as to how the food works. It's not just calories in or calories out. And I see that because people don't fucking change. They look the fucking same year after year after year, even though the scale moves a little bit. You don't fucking understand it. So, okay, phone call came in. So you have those two scenarios. Either you're too high in body fat for it to work, you lose some water and you actually stop fat loss from happening, or you're already lean enough for it to work and you never fully fill up your glycogen stores and you wind up burning it right off again. When you go back out to train the next day or maybe that day or whatever the case may be, you get that shift in metabolism. Now, this tricky part is how often to do it. And that's something that I go by feel and how my body's reacting. Usually maybe once a week or maybe twice a week, I'll raise the carbs a little bit. And it may not even be 200 grams. It may not be 300 grams. One day maybe I go from 50 to maybe 120. It may be from 50, I'll raise them up to 250. Or maybe 300 or 400 or whatever it is. I never get my glycogen stores full to the point where even if I did get them full by going back down to the restricted carbohydrate diet, the water comes off very quickly, the carbohydrates or the glycogen gets used up very quickly and you're back down to being depleted. It's only when your body's depleted that you get that speed up in metabolism. If you're not depleted, you don't get that. What you get is a stop or a halt in fat loss. So be aware, just because the scale's moving, it doesn't mean you're losing fat, okay? And it's a mind bender for some people, reason being, you don't understand how the body works. You've never been really lean. You don't even understand how carbohydrates, fats, cardio, weight training, you don't even understand how it works and how they all work together, let alone the fact that you can eat junk, which completely boggles your mind, and then lose weight, but you're not losing fat, and that's what really matters. Biowestertraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biowestertraining.com is a blog. And so you're not losing fat, it's just water bicep, and we're out.